and certify there is a quorum present with 3 commissioners. Commissioner Domi is out of town, and Commissioner Edwards is not here, but Commissioner Thornton and Commissioner Wilson and I are all here. At this time, I'll ask Chief Greaser if he'll lead us in a prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flag.
Our Father in heaven, we're indeed grateful for this opportunity to meet together and discuss the business of Smith County ESD2, and the opportunity to serve our fellow man as they have needs and challenges and they call on our services. We pray that blessings upon every firefighter in our county as they seek to mitigate the circumstances that they're faced with and serve and do as thou would have them to do. And we pray that blessings be upon them. And we pray for safety and strength in the business. We pray that our words spoken tonight would be in an effort to improve our services and our service delivery. And we pray that blessings be upon us in this meeting. In Jesus' name we now pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right. Item number 3, recognition of guests and special presentations. Larry, you got anybody you want to introduce at this time or anything?
I'll reserve it to hold my report, sir.
Okay, all right. I see Jim's here from Christus and Michael's here from UT, and everybody else seems to be the same old crowd. So thank you guys for being here tonight. I know y'all were probably busy last night. So anyway, item 4, public comments. Do we have anybody signed up for a public comment?
We have one,
Okay.
Hunter Rath.
Okay. Hunter.
It's on. Okay. Commissioners, tonight I want to bring to your attention a critical issue related to the individual equipment and PPE provisioning policy adopted by this board last Thursday. As was stated in the meeting agenda, the adopted policy applies to both paid and volunteer staff, so this issue impacts the entire ESD as a whole. As written today, there are no personnel, either paid or volunteer, that comply with the policy for either wildland or structural PPE. To explain, let's review the adopted policy. Personnel qualified for wildland PPE are defined as, and I quote, personnel having all of the following: SFFMA or TCFP wildland certification and or NWCG S130, S190, L180, I100 completion, and SFFMA or TCFP driver operator certification wildland and tender, and in-house driver training curriculum including EVOC must complete driver course annually. Personnel qualified for structural PPE are defined as, and I quote, personnel having all of the following: SFFMA Firefighter 1 certification or TCFP Basic Structural Firefighter certification, and SFFMA or TCFP Wildland certification and or NWCG S130, S190, L180, I100 completion, and SFFMA or TCFP Driver Operator Engine and Tender and Wildland, and in-house driver training curriculum, including EVOC, must complete driver course annually. First, TCFP does not offer a driver operator certification for wildland or tender apparatus. This certification is only available through SFFMA. Second, paid firefighters are not eligible to receive an SFFMA driver operator wildland or tender certification unless they are members of an SFFMA member department, which the ESD is not. I reviewed the certifications in TCFP and SFFMA of 126 of the paid personnel and found none are currently holding all 3 driver operator certifications. I strongly urge the board to immediately schedule a special called meeting to correct this issue. Otherwise, effective October 1st, this coming Sunday, all personnel in Smith County ESD2 will be out of compliance with the policy and ineligible for wildland or structural PPE, meaning either we will have to ignore the policy that you just adopted, or we will have to cease all fireground operations. Thank you for your attention on this important matter.
Thank you. Anybody else signed up for public comment? Okay. We'll move on to item number 5, which is consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. I hope you've all had a chance to look over the bills. I've looked them over and nothing seems out of line. We can either take them an item at a time, or we can vote on all 3, which would be the payment of the bills, the credit card, and the contract payments. So whatever you.
I'll make a motion to pay the district credit card bills and
Our regular bills.
our regular bills.
Yeah, our contract payments.
Contract payments
Okay.
as well.
All right. Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton that we pay our regular bills, our credit card bills, and our contract payments under items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other further discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Okay. Let's see here. Item 6, receive, discuss, and take any necessary action relating to the following reports. Agenda minutes for August 12th, 2023 meeting. Under 6.1, 6.2 is agenda minutes for the August 19th special call meeting or workshop. 6.3 agenda minutes, August 28, 23 Board of Commissioners meeting, and minutes for September 7th meeting. If y'all had a chance to review them, I've looked over them. They all seem to be in order. I didn't see anything that was not.
I move that we accept them.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we accept the minutes under agenda item 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, and 6.4. Have a second?
I second.
Have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 7, Executive Director's Administrative and Financial Report.
I shall give a few highlights from the written report, which everybody should have received. And the new 457B optional retirement plan has been rolled out and people have signed up, and we expect sign-ups to gradually increase as the new fiscal year is proceeding. At the prior board meeting, the board approved the new service provider contract with the VFDs, and original execution copies have been delivered to each VFD. The proposed fiscal year 2024 budget has become the adopted budget, and the tax rate was also adopted on September 7, and we have submitted the necessary document to the tax assessor's office and posted the budget and tax rate on the official ESD2 website. We are proceeding with the regions as the new depository bank, and there is a lot of paperwork involved, and we ask each commissioner to be flexible and cooperative in getting the new signature cards signed up with each commissioner. So when Keith or whoever try to organize, please be flexible. Otherwise, you won't be able to sign checks. The audit was adopted at the last regular board meeting. We have submitted the official audit documents to the Smith County Commissioners Court as requested by 775. And those were the highlights that I had, so unless somebody has any questions, that's all I had.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. Item number 8 is the financial report. Financial statement of net position, statement of activities, budget versus actual, reconciliation reports, and check register. Keith, you want to speak on that?
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Were there any questions about any of those financial reports? If not, I would maybe like to look at the budget versus actual comparison.
Okay.
So we're looking at August 31st, which is 11 months through our 12-month calendar year, our fiscal year. So we should be at about 92% expended for the year. So for revenues, we're in really good shape. We're well over 100% as far as revenues recorded versus budgeted. For administrative payroll, we're at 92%, right on target. Capital purchases, we're a little below, but yet we have some delays, I believe, for some of the capital investment purchases relating to the apparatuses that we're purchasing. Contractual fees, we're at 91%, so we're right on target. Information technology, if you combine outstanding encumbrances and actual expenditures, we're at 85% for the year compared to budget, so we're in good shape. For total operating expenses, if you include encumbrances, we're only at 62%, but in September, we're going to have some pretty large invoices being processed. Our loan payment, $437,000 for the principal and $82,000 for the interest. So when those materialize, we'll be right at 93% for the year. Building repairs and maintenance, we're at 78%. Fuel or supplies, gas and diesel, we're at 70%. General operational expenses, we're at 95%. Again, expenses, actual expenses compared to budget. Legal and professional, we're at 80%. New equipment and gear, we're at 78%. Stipends, we're at 86%. And training, we're at 66% for the year. Truck repairs and maintenance, we're at about 80%. Overall, we're at 88% of budgeted expenses versus actual expenses. So we're in good shape as far as budget versus actual.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions about anything else? I would just entertain a motion that we'd accept the financial reports as given. Okay. Okay, I made a motion we accept the financials as presented and have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Is there any other question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries. All right. Item 9, I guess, will be move on to discuss, consider, and take any action on a proposed $350,000 VFIS insurance reimbursement to the Smith County ESD2 related to the 2017 Freightliner VIN 1 Frank Victor Adam Charles Young David Tom 0 Henry Zebra 1844, date of loss 4/5 of 2023. You gonna speak on that, Chief, or Keith is? All right.
So VFIS, our insurance carrier, has completed their investigation, and they're subrogating this claim, so they're going to reimburse the district, and then they'll go after the actual insurance company that incurred or caused the loss. But that vehicle was insured at $350,000, and they're going to reimburse us $350,000. So staff is asking the board to approve either the executive director and or the chief of operations to complete and sign all the requested documentation from VFIS to approve the acceptance of the $350,000 check. And if you approve that, we would ask also that that settlement could be solely utilized to repurchase capital apparatus. And if that's also approved, that would also require a budget amendment to the 2024 budget to increase that by $350,000.
All right. Well, gentlemen, you've heard the report. What's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the executive director and/or chief of operations to complete and sign all requested documentation for the PFIS to approve acceptance of the $350,000 settlement check.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to approve the executive director and/or chief of operation to complete and sign all requested documentation from VFIS to approve acceptance of $350,000 settlement check. I have a second by Commissioner Wilson, but I would also ask that you would amend your motion to state that that money be put into the capital apparatus fund.
I'll
Yeah.
amend my motion to clarify that settlement proceeds be solely utilized for the capital apparatus replacement, and such authorize a 2024 budget amendment to increase the capital apparatus budget by $350,000.
I'll second his amendment.
I have a second to the amended motion by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion or question? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 10, Director of Human Resources Report. 10.1, discuss, consider taking the next action on Human Resources Report. Ms. Sherry?
Okay. Well, you all have my report before you. I didn't know if you had any questions from the report. I was going to point out just a few things on it. One is that our new firefighters have successfully passed the orientation and have all been assigned to their fire station as of September 17th. Benefit providers, since we changed them for October, I will need to have new integrations made with UKG, and so that process will probably start the end of October, maybe the 1st of November on that. Empower, I was going to touch on the 457B, but since Eric already did that, I won't reiterate that again. And open enrollment was complete and successful, so we're all good to go for the new fiscal year. I don't know if you had any questions on any of that.
No.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I guess 10.2 will be injuries.
Yes, I gave you the report on the workforce injuries. I didn't know if you had any questions on that.
Only one I'd have is what happened to the one in orientation? How did we get an injury there?
It was just during the exercises and things that they do for orientation.
Working too hard, Chief.
Yeah, hard to say on that one.
Yeah.
They do get a very rigorous 2-week program, but I don't have any indications that was specific to that workout. Just occurred.
Okay. All right. And then 10.3, discuss and consider and take any necessary action on the, I guess, workman's comp.
No, it's UHC, it's United Healthcare.
UHC, yes.
Yes, I received a bill for United Healthcare for October. We did not renew with United Healthcare, and so I did not want to approve that to be paid for October. But there were some adjustments on that same bill for September that do need to be paid, and that was $31,220.41. And I'm asking that the board will approve payment of that. And the reason for the adjustment is that was the rate increase was for the month of September. And so that's why that's $31,400 or $220.41.
So we need to approve $31,220.41
Yes.
as a payment for a
Yes.
final bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we approve payment to United Healthcare for October, which includes September adjustments for new renewal rates in the amount of $31,220.41.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton, we pay the final bill to United Healthcare. I have a second.
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. 10.4, safety report for September.
Yes, I presented to you the safety report for September as well as a follow-up for the last month. I didn't know if you had any questions on any of that.
Looks like somebody said they tried to send in a safety report, but it wasn't let them. Do we know, did we get that figured out why they couldn't do it, or?
I'll let you answer that.
Okay. All right. And I guess if you want to, give us a chief or whatever on the final investigation on the fire at Flint or whatever.
Certainly, I'm happy to speak to that. We've done quite a bit of looking back. We were even working in the fire marshal's office today to see if there was any other information that could be ascertained from the fire marshal's office on their process and procedures for the certification of the system. It's less than optimal, the information that we were able to obtain from the fire marshal's office. As you know, they've gone through some change, and procedurally exactly how that red tagging occurred or didn't occur, but I'm uncertain that they were highly involved in the process as what I've been used to throughout my career. How the fire marshal's office would be fundamentally involved in that process. We did do a final write-up on how the incident occurred and that there are systems that can prevent gas flow to a gas stove, requiring an interrupt circuitry that turns off a gas valve when the call comes in. We're not there in terms of the systems that we have in our facilities. That's pretty extensive cost to do that. I'm not saying that it's not worth it, but we've got a variety of situations that would need to be addressed throughout the district. With that in mind, some safety elements that could be put in place, not the least of which is adding smoke detectors throughout our fire stations, which absolutely needed to be done. So we've been working on that. Larry's team has been instrumental in making that happen. The new facility that we're now occupying in Winona Firehouse 3. So a number of improvements in that category, and we'll continue to work on that. In addition to that, doing facility inspections will help us just stay ahead of some of this and make sure that we're a little more on top of how our fire stations are aging and requiring additional maintenance or attention. But as far as the incident, some procedural things that we can do in terms of turning off and covering, removing from the burner to prevent further damage from cooking fires, but having systems that might prevent this from happening, we're quite a ways from that being feasible for our district. Having been a part of those type of installations in the past, that's a pretty complex system, and it's significant cost that would have to be weighed against several other factors that we have for our own competing issues for our district. Happy to answer any other questions that you might have related to that. I'm not certain that we don't have video of it. We're not able to really pinpoint to exactness. We just have the statements, the interviews, and the findings that we believe are contributing factors to the fire.
Okay. Did anybody contact Rudd to ask them who they notified of that failure?
Yeah, we've been unsuccessful at that at this point. We're trying to get the details from them. But the best that we've been able to tell is that that information was passed on to the fire chief, Chief Stone of Flint. But where the district fell in that, my predecessor was here. So I'm not real sure exactly how that happened. Maybe he was notified, maybe he wasn't. I can't really speak conclusively to that. But we're kind of batting zero on that piece. But it is an anomaly because that's not, to my knowledge, we don't have a whole lot of other systems like this one. Larry, you might be able to point to that.
We only have one other facility that has a commercial fire alarm, and that's ARM. And to reiterate, none of these are monitored.
Yeah. Well, it's not the fact that it's monitored, but if they red tag it, they're supposed to make a report to somebody within 48 hours or 24 hours. And that's according to the state fire marshal. So it's not pointing blame at anybody. We're just trying to figure out where the breakdown came.
It is quite possible that it went to Chief Rozelle. And,
Yeah.
I can't speak either way, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, I'm just wondering, I mean, it's after the fact, but, we all got culpability in it, no matter what, so. For sure. Anyway. All right. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that. All right. Item 11, Director of Support Services report. Now then, Larry.
All right, Commissioners, I don't have a whole lot this time. It's fairly light as far as request goes. Item 11.1 is requesting additional uniforms for our new recruits. They've all been sized, and we're ready to go ahead and move forward with purchasing those uniforms. I'd be happy to answer any questions as it relates to that.
Okay. So your recommendation is the FR girls? Is that what? I think it said.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not to exceed 20,000, or is this 19,374.80 the total cost?
19,374.80 is the total cost, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase of those uniforms for the new hires.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we approve FR girls for the purchase of the uniforms for the new hires not to exceed $20,000.
Can I make a point of clarification on that, Commissioner? It's actually two vendors with specific items. So $12,454.50 will be coming from FR Girls. $6,920.30 would be coming from Ben's Truck and Repair. So it's two vendors.
So it's 19 for both of them together?
That's correct. 19,374.80.
Okay, you restate your motion to approve $12,454.50 for uniforms from FR Girls and $6,920.30 for wildland PPE from Ben's Truck Repair?
Yes.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson. Have a second? Have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. All right, 11.2.
Commissioners, this is to purchase gear and PPE for those new recruits as well. They're currently in loaner gear, and the total there is going to be $71,406.34.
Okay. And is that all coming from the same vendor? Or is it coming from different vendors?
It is split into two vendors, sir.
It is split? Okay. Trying to get all these things to pull up. It's running a little. Yeah.
It's $67,281.34 from NAFCO and $4,125 from Casco.
Okay. Yeah, got it now. All right. And there will be a price increase October 1st, is that right?
Yes, sir. I think it's pretty standard every year for them.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion for the PPE, for the gear and PPE.
I'll make a motion to authorize the staff to purchase the needed structural PPE for new recruits at a cost not to exceed $71,406.34.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to approve it not to exceed $71,406.34, $67,281.34 for bunker gear from NAFCO, and $4,125 for helmets from Casco. I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries. All right. Discuss, consider, and take any action on accepting new support vehicle into the fleet. Okay. You going to speak on that, Larry?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, Chapel Hill VFD has received a grant, so to say, from Chapel Hill City of, and they've donated a new support vehicle to the Chapel Hill Fire Department. We have inspected that vehicle at our fleet facility, as well as looked at its additional needs to get that vehicle in service. We ask that the commissioners formally adopt this vehicle into the fleet, with a few conditions that are mentioned in the actual cover letter there. One of those conditions is that Chapel Hill has committed to turning over their existing support vehicle that they have to support services to use for the fleet transport technicians to get around. So this is a benefit to both organizations, and we ask commissioners to consider adopting it into the fleet. There is a cost involved with this, and we've tried to lay out those costs. I think this is the first time we're really presenting one like this, where we're trying to estimate what it's going to take to get this into service, as well as to provide you with some information of how much it will cost year over year. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. So what's the cost of getting it up to complete service?
We are looking at $18,000. $2,000 of that is for some graphics and outside service. $3,000 of that is for hand tools, equipment, hoist, winches, that kind of stuff, as well as $13,000 for IT equipment. That main cost of that is going to be the radios.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion that the board accepts the new support vehicle provided to Chapel Hill and approve the associated costs for equipment and projected maintenance expenses contingent upon Chapel Hill VFD's compliance with the condition of acceptance, and the upfront associated cost of IT cost of $13,000, upfront equipment cost of $3,000, graphics cost of $2,000 to change both new and old vehicles, and then with the estimated yearly IT cost of $730,032, and estimated ongoing maintenance and operation cost $2,670.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton. I have a second.
I'll second it.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson, and I'm not going to try to repeat all that. So, anyway, is there any other further question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Thank you, Dale, for doing that. All right. All right.
Commissioner, 11.4 is going to be my board report.
Okay.
At this time, I'd like to ask Carla to stand up. Carla is our new support services specialist working out of Fleet. She is a parts and service specialist, and she's going to be instrumental in helping to provide some streamlined processes and procedures in our fleet maintenance department as we make some changes to try to streamline those processes. So, thank you, Carla. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. All right.
In addition, my report is sitting in front of you. Y'all have had time to review it. A couple of things I'd like to point out is we did just introduce a new policy in the fleet maintenance department. It's kind of in a trial at this point. Adjustments will need to be made. And we also are in the final stages of becoming our own inspection station for vehicle inspections. So I know that's been on the to-do list, and we're just waiting on our final audit. So with that, I'll ask the board if you have any questions for me. I'll be happy to answer.
I don't have any other, I don't think. No. All right. Thank you, Larry.
Yes, sir. And I just have one more item after that, Commissioner.
Yep. 11.5, discuss, consider, and take any action on the purchase of boot inventory at a cost not to exceed $18,090.40. So, you want to speak on that?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, this is to support the policy for the boot issuance that y'all approved at the last meeting. We did state during that policy introduction that there would be some funding requests coming forward to help fund that policy. This is to purchase an initial sizing set of one type of boot that we would be able to have at the logistics facility for people to come in and try on. The intent is if they come in and try on a pair that fits, they leave with that pair, we'll purchase a new pair to replace that and cycle inventory in that way. It will also purchase a few extra of the common sizes that we know we'll be using to reduce shipping costs. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we approve the request for the boot sizing kit not to exceed in the amount of $18,090.40. Have a second?
I second that.
Have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other question or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 12, Chief of Operations Report. Chief Greaser.
Commissioners, you have my report before you. Just a couple of highlights I'd make for you. That we're proud to confirm that Firehouse number 3 in Winona was open on September the 17th with staffing, and that has been going quite well. Trying to make sure that the coverage in the upper north and east part of the county is in better shape at this point and more consistent. In my report, I've got before you about our apparatus that are in production and kind of where they're at and slated. I try to keep up with that in the Friday reports as well, but I wanted to make you aware of that our Spartan apparatus is a little bit behind schedule. I mentioned that last month, but no real change there. The Pearson Forcer is moving along nicely, and we have a schedule to do a factory final on it the last week of October. That'll also allow us to kind of utilize that trip for both a final inspection and pre-construction on the apparatus that have been on order for quite some time that we expect March deliveries on. And the only way we've been able to get these other apparatus is demos and or the used apparatus that you were provided for us. So at any rate, we have a few more that we hope to bring before you in an October board meeting of sorts, and bring some purchasing of equipment to kind of expedite that, and we hope to have that before you at our earliest possibility in October. We remain deployed on TIFMAS and have been out for quite some time. We've been cycling crews through. Only 2 firefighters have remained in theater on that operation, but we're thankful for the much-needed rain that came and hope that the state of Texas will now be improving in terms of fire conditions and maybe some of the demobilization assignments will be issued in short order. We've talked already about class number 5 and the recruits and how that orientation went. I'm proud of the instructors and the quality of the instruction that's taken place, and quite a bit of pride that's put into each of these classes as they develop in that 2-week. And so I also express our appreciation for the commitment that takes in terms of cost of overtime and man hours and the total operation. We were also able to return our dozers back to a more normal condition from the fire conditions improving slightly, although you wouldn't have known that prior to the rain yesterday. ESD1 was quite busy, and other parts of the county as well. Quite a bit of training to report that's contained on the report as well, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I don't have any. You have any, Scott? Charles? No. Okay, thank you, Chief. All right. Personal participation summary, incident breakdown by incident and category. You gonna speak on that too, Chief? Or?
I certainly will. If you'll just notice that the total call volume for that 30-day period ending in August the 31st is 966 runs. Really seeing pretty consistent run volumes, which you would expect the higher run volumes for the summer months as well. But nothing really stands out that really piques a whole lot of interest there in terms of the calls and call types. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have related to that.
And then I guess the personal participation.
Yeah, it's broken down in each of our service providers. Individual reports as well. This is the totality of it. I think it's a little cumbersome to look at it in this format, but in the breakdowns per service provider, it's a little clearer to get a better understanding.
All right. 12.2, discuss, consider, and take any action on proposed training facility improvements at a cost not to exceed $27,000. Are you going to speak on that?
I will, absolutely. So I think in the budget for last year, there was discussion about this being approved as a project.
Still currently.
That's what I meant to say, yeah. Yeah, I'm moving us forward a little fast. It did not get accomplished throughout the year and kind of pushed to the end of the budget cycle here, and some alternate ways of looking at funding. I did notice on the agenda summary that on the financial impact, it still had in there training and conferences. That is not the GL code that had been decided. So there is a small error within the agenda item summary under financial impact. But it is proposed that we spend $27,000 in terms of procuring some shipping containers, some site improvements of concrete, some crushed asphalt and select fill, as well as some piers to set them on. And we'll be able to accomplish a more comprehensive training scenario setup for us. Extremely useful. I've utilized shipping containers for many years. the abilities to train within the containers and add firefighting simulation props, forcible entry, vent inner search windows and doors, the ability to modify them for future. They're just an excellent way to gain some square footage that we can set up in a variety of ways and accomplish firefighter simulations. I would recommend that you strongly consider approval for this modest amount of money at $27,000, pretty inexpensive for the return on the investment. The number of firefighters that we'll be able to put through training simulations far exceeds the cost that we're asking you to consider.
Yeah, I think what happened, the money was budgeted, but it wound up in a different line item. So what will happen is it will show an overage, but then we'll have to come back and make a budget amendment just to move it into the right
The
area.
funding request is correct.
It is,
It's coming out of GL 59.
okay, so you got that changed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right then.
Yes, just on the agenda item summary, I noticed as we were speaking of financial impact, it still said training and conferences, and I apologize for that.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay, so it's correct.
It's correct, isn't it?
West.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is, yeah. The first time it came out, it wasn't correct, and we got it corrected, okay.
And I take account for that, just not knowing exactly what was in that all the way back for budget planning last year.
Yeah, all right. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the request for $27,000 for the training facility.
I'll make a motion, we approve products and services to complete the improvements, live fire operations training simulations for $27,000 to be drawn out of the GL 59,000 capital budget.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to approve the $27,000 for the improvements to the training facility, taken out of GL Code 5900, capital buildings and structures. Have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those say nay, and that motion carries. Okay. All right. All right. Funding request for training grounds. That's part of it, right? Yep.
Correct.
Okay. All right. 12.3, discuss, consider, and take any action on the purchase of rescue tools for Troop Volunteer Fire Department at a cost not to exceed $32,130. And this was, Troop got a grant for $20,000, but it's kind of like the one that Noonday and Bullard got, where you have to buy the tools up front, and then we get reimbursed the $20,000, so we get a $32,000 set of tools for about $12,000 altogether.
That is correct, and Chief Mulgrew brought me all the documentation and the quotes that he had put together. We seek your approval to move forward and spend the $32,130 to obtain the set of tools for Troop, and then the offset of the grant funding would be coming back to the district.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the amount for the rescue tools for Troop battery.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other discussion or question? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries. Okay. All right. Item 13, discuss and consider and take any necessary action on fire chiefs presenting, discussing issues with the board for future actions. So, I see Chief Arnold is not here. Is anybody here from ARP? Okay. Chief Riley, looks like you're up.
Good afternoon. A report that we we had finished a ground search and rescue class a few weeks back. We have 3 new certifications that came back to Bullard for that. Chief Mefford and I attended the retention and recruitment seminar down in Pasadena, Texas this last weekend. It was hosted by SFFMA, and learned some new tools and resources available, as well as some grants available to volunteer fire departments to help increase retention and recruitment. So hope to start implementing some of those pretty soon. Of course, our fire prevention awareness tour starts this week, and so we'll be at Brook Hill this Friday, and then next week starting Bullard ISD primary school, early education, the daycare, and then that leads into homecoming week, the parade. We're going to be hosting an open house at the fire department October 14th, if anybody's interested in coming out and participating. We get requests often to put on our fire prevention at other schools, not in our district, and unfortunately unable to go outside of our district to put that on, so we decided to host an open house this year to invite anybody that wanted to come and participate. So we're partnering with a couple of other groups, Kent Gladiator. Again, they're going to come and talk to everybody about health and wellness and fitness. And then we're also partnering with UT Tyler. The Chemistry Student Council is putting together a fire science exhibit to be able to come and talk to children and adults of all ages about fire science and prevention. We just finished the Veterans event this last week in Bullard, where they hosted, I think it was 7 Medal of Honor recipients and lots of veterans that came in from multiple agencies. They also brought in, I think, 7 helicopters, the Chinook Cobras, Christus Flight for Life, and of course the big parade that had all the military vehicles and classic cars. So it was a good turnout, a good honoring of the veterans. And then the last thing we have is Wildland Academy. We have 2 that are going to the Capital Area Wildfire Academy down in Bastrop, Texas in the coming weeks to take a chainsaw class. So other than that, that's all I have to report, unless you have any questions.
No. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Chief Peterson, Chapel Hill.
Thank you, Commissioners. First thing I'd like to mention is the reports you got here. I've got 3 people on my report I've been working on since June, sending to support tickets, trying to get them off my roster because they've been gone for that long. So I don't know why they can't get them off. Also on that, plus on the know before and everything else, they're still on.
What I found out, Dale, is that those people have been taken off, but they will continue to show up on the report because they have to go from year to year. So they're not being counted, it's just showing up on there, so.
Okay, well, make it look bad when you see the zeros across
No,
the board.
I understand that, but for some reason, they can't be pulled off the report.
Okay.
So.
What about that know before? It keeps getting emails from it.
Yeah, I know it skews the numbers.
Okay, so I just worry about the know befores as well then. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good enough. We've been pretty busy as well. I had 2 firefighters that went through an EVOT class in White House this last time. And also, I am going to be hosting an EVOT class in Chapel Hill October the 6th and 7th. So if anybody interested in an EVOT class, we'll be having that in Chapel Hill. That Chief Yakeley is going to be teaching that class.
Is that a TEACS class?
Yes, that is. You have to sign up on TEACS to get to that class, correct. So anybody needs, you have to sign up for it.
Okay.
Also, I sent 7 firefighters to the GSAR class in Bullard and came back with 7 of them certified for GSAR as well. I also sent 2 firefighters went to NIMS, got their NIMS 400, come back with their NIMS 400 and completed that. I also got 3 firefighters in the TCFP class here at Red Springs. I got 3 from Chapel Hill in that class as well. So they'll be going to that one. Smith County's putting on. I also got 1 firefighter who's going to be starting her firefighter 2 through the SFFMA. She already finished up on her 1, so now she's going to get her firefighter 2. Now I got another one that's going to be starting officer 1 here pretty quick. We just got that approved for him to do that as well. And we've been busy with a lot of things at Chapel Hill. We helped support the homecoming parade here in Chapel Hill. Also helped with Bullard with a veteran parade. We also helped them in that as well. We helping support them as well. And let's say, then last time we had a report about the Rose City Triathlon, we helped do that as well.
Okay,
That's all I have.
all right. Thank you, sir. Anybody here from Dixie? No? Okay. Point Gresham, Chief Stone?
Well, on mine, I want to say we've got two new members that are in the process of going through all the background checks and all that. We had 7 in the EVOC class. We had 8 in a CPR first aid class. And we've got 1 enrolled in the academy that we're putting on in-house. So, and then we were pretty busy last night, so kind of tired. But that's all unless y'all got something.
Okay, all right. I appreciate it, thank you. Nobody here from Jackson Heights? Oh, Terrence, there he is. I snuck in, I didn't see you back there, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, I snuck in.
Yeah.
We went to several back-to-school events for the month of August. We also assisted the triathlon in White House. I've got several enrolled at the EVOC class that Chapel Hill is having. Even my board members are signed up for that. We did a massive cleaning at station number 1. We're in the process of improving that building for use. It says I got 3 one-person responses on here. I only have 1. But I have 2 reports that have narratives on them, but no personnel on them. So I'm not sure how that works. So I get with logistics and we'll go from there on that one. IT, go from there on that one. I don't have anything else unless you'll have something for me.
No. Appreciate it, Terrence.
One more thing I forgot.
Uh-huh.
I do have 1 person that has turned an application, and we have 1 person that's been approved.
Okay,
So
good.
we're up to 4.
You're up to 4 now.
Up to 4.
Okay, good. All right. Anybody here from Noonday? Go ahead, Peter.
Harper reached out, he's on shift tonight, but he said he had nothing new to share with the board.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Red Springs? Danny?
We don't have a whole lot new. We do have a little bit more participation as helping, standing by, running calls. Myself and a couple other ones are picking it up. We have got our 501c back finally. So we got 2 prospects. One has reached out to me or actually come through the office and wanted my number to become a volunteer. And then I have another gentleman that's wanting to come back on. So right now we're just doing all we can do to get out of the hole.
Okay, all right, Dan, thank you. Got any questions? I'm pretty sure any of these other chiefs will be willing to help you with whatever you got.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Chief Mulger's not here because he still can't get out of his driveway. He had an electric line blow down across his driveway, so Chief Champion?
Down at White House, we've got one that we're working on finishing up to get on with the department. The EVOC class we had, it was a good class down there. Had a good group, even had 7 come from Overton that was in the class. So it was a good group, had a good turnout with that. Our board president was out Sunday when we were doing driving and got to be with us for that. We did that at the high school down there. Biggest thing we had going on, and really appreciate the turnout. It's a big event every year. Chief Greaser even come out to it. He was very impressed with how it was. And that was the triathlon out at Lake Tyler at the Boulders. Great turnout that we do have every year. Appreciate the IT department getting the command trailer out there and setting up for it. Appreciate all the volunteer fire departments. Had fantastic turnout from every department to cover all that. and we do appreciate that. That's about all I've got.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Mhm.
Chief Allen, Winona.
As it was mentioned earlier, we got staffed this last Sunday at Balmain's. It's been a great experience so far, and we had a lunch with the crew on Saturday, had 16 pounds of brisket, and there wasn't nothing left, so something went right. So, if y'all ain't got any questions, I ain't got nothing else.
I noticed on your Facebook page you were doing some training.
Water soccer and hose stream practices, yeah.
Okay, that's good to see it. Thank you, sir. All right, item 14 will be a closed session. The board will convene a closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551071.072 and 074. No action will be taken while the board is in closed session. And any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board reconvenes in open session. We are adjourned at 7:08 and ask everyone to call the meeting back to order at 7:54 p.m. There is no action to be taken on item 15.1 at this time. Item 16 is remarks by presiding officer and/or board members. Scotty, you have anything? Charles? Okay, the only thing I have is I just want to thank you guys for the job you've been doing, getting out last night in the weather. I know it's not fun, but that's just what we do. Everybody worked good together last night, I understand, so you guys just keep doing the good job you're doing, and just be safe out there and take care of yourself and your families, and take care of our citizens. That's a big thing. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
A motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Thornton. We are adjourned at 7:55 p.m.